Andrew Tyler, so great to
Uh,
see you again.
Good to see you again, man.
Can
How's
I
it
get
going?
a hell yeah?
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah!
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. So, 12 seasons, 81 episodes. Was there ever a moment through these 6 or 7 years where you had an outer body experience and you just thought to yourself, this is something special and the world is catching on?
Yeah, I think for me, it was the scene where my ex-girlfriend Gay had my legs in the air and she walked into the frame with a goldfish in her hand. And I'm like, what am I doing here? That was probably the closest thing to the outer body experience. Is that what you mean, Brian? Or is that,
It's exactly what I mean.
yeah, that was a moment where I'm like, wow, this is what I do for a living. Huh.
And it's special.
Yeah,
That was special. That was a special moment. Andrew,
I
you got
feel,
one, buddy?
yeah. I feel like when Dylan, there's this the season that Dylan and I were forced to split up because he was with Katie and I was on my own, and I was choosing friends between Glenn and Tyler and Rold, and they're both coaxing me like I was a dog. Like, come here, come here, and I was like a lost puppy going back and forth, back and forth. Like I was just like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is going on? So, that was the moment where all right, here we are. This,
I
yeah.
like
But maybe
that.
to answer your question a little bit more literally, Brian, when we did that Letterkenny tour, we
Thanks,
had
Ty.
a couple little known celebs. I don't know if you'll recognize the name, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. They showed up to the Letterkenny live tour, came backstage and told us how big of fans they were of our show. And I think that was a pretty wild moment for all of us. They were
Yeah.
super humble, great guys, but just watching two men like that throughout, my entire life, and to have them, be fans of our show was a pretty surreal experience.
I bet that was. Hopefully they told you their favorite moments from the show.
You know what? I just went and said hi, and then I just walked away because I didn't want to put my foot in my mouth. I was like, "It's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for being here." And I just slowly walked away backwards.
No, that sounds good, and I love that you brought the live show up because what this last season does, this finale season, there's it's all about changes, but also being happy with where you are and your friends. And I went to the live shows and I loved it, but was there something that each of you took away from your characters or being on the set that you learned and that you use daily in life?
Oh man, I mean, I have so many inappropriate jokes that are flying through my head right now with Stuart.
Do it, do it.
No, you know what? I don't know. I think Stuart and I are different people. But one thing I think we both can agree on is how important friendship and community is. When you need someone to lean on, it's nice to have someone to lean on. And I was kind of always leaning on Rold. And then as the series continued to progress, we were developing better relationships with the hockey players, trying to save Katie and different circumstances where you realize that maybe community is important, and getting out of the basement every now and then is something that I should do.
Yeah, I think Jonesy and I are quite a bit different as well in a lot of ways. In some ways, similar. I think the biggest thing with Letterkenny, outside the character, is just to appreciate the moment, especially this being the final season. You look back and we all had at different points other things going on in our lives, and we had the privilege to like kind of come back every year and see each other and laugh and make cool content that people enjoy. And yeah, in the middle, there's some times where you kind of me specifically got dry. There was other things in my life that were pulling me away from it a bit, but I learned through Letterkenny like just how important it is to just relish in the moment. Uh, and yeah, I think that was one of the things I learned, and I'll continue to cherish. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, Letterkenny over the last several years has become like a cultural icon. It's a phenom. If you can take your amazing characters that you play in the show and insert them into any movie out there to make it better, that movie better, what movie are you going to insert your character from Letterkenny into?
Ooh, that's a good
I
question.
feel like I feel like I could be like a good, like maybe a X-Men villain or something like that, you know? Maybe Stuart and the Skids could find ways to. I don't think we'd put up much of a fight though, but I think Stuart ultimately the first few seasons wanted to be the villain, the evil villain, and kind of like the Grinch who stole Christmas. His heart just continued to grow, and it got less and less black as the seasons progressed. But I feel like Stewart and the Skids would be good villains, and maybe X-Men or maybe James Bond. Maybe James Bond, and we have ideas to blow up the egg hall, and 007 has to come in and save the day.
I love that.
I think Riley and Jonesy, because obviously we'd have to be together. I think we would have been really good in Wedding Crashers as fellow Wedding Crashers.
Nice, buddy.
Yeah, I think we could have learned a lot from Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. They could have learned a lot from us
I'll
on
find you.
yeah how to how to find a target if the snipes and pick up the snipes and we could have exchanged game tactics.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to both. I'm so glad y'all are doing well, and so great to talk with you again.
Happy New Year, man. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.